Indiana basketball goes on the road and loses to Wisconsin again, 91-79. No Kel'el Ware, big problem.
You are Locked On Hoosiers, your daily podcast on the Indiana Hoosiers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome into the Locked On Hoosiers podcast. I'm your man, Jacob Goins. I appreciate you making Locked On Hoosiers your first listen each and every day. We are a part of the Locked On Podcast Network, which is your team every day. Thank you so much for being on the YouTube video. If you're there, you can like that, subscribe to the channel as we continue to grow towards 1,700 subscribers. Be sure you become a part of that. If you're on any of your audio podcasting platforms, we are free and available wherever you get your podcast. So be sure that you check us out on there. Be sure you turn on notifications wherever you are so you don't miss episodes just like this one, a bonus episode of Locked On Hoosiers as we react to Indiana's performance on the road at Wisconsin. They lose 91-79. Today's episode is brought to you by Gametime. Look, Gametime is a fast and easy way to buy tickets for all the sports, music, comedy, and theater events near you. And right now, all users get $100 off when they buy a big game ticket with the code VEGAS100. Last minute tickets, flash deals, easy to find and buy tickets for every kind of event in your area. You can see your view from your seat, and all-in prices let you know exactly how much you're going to pay with the Gametime app. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, and right now users get $100 off of a big game ticket with the code VEGAS100. If you're going to the game, buy one on Gametime. You use the code VEGAS100. You're going to get $100 off. Terms apply. Just download Gametime and use the code VEGAS100 for $100 off the big game ticket. Or if you're not going to the game, use code LOCKEDON for $20 off your first purchase. Download Gametime today. Lowest tickets, last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Indiana goes on the road, loses to Wisconsin once again. Been since 1998. In case you haven't heard that number, I'm sure you have. But Indiana loses 91-79. And the biggest storyline going into the game was Kel'el Ware being in street clothes and a boot with a lower leg injury. Did not play in this game. And that's a problem for this Indiana team because they're struggling to win games even when Kel'el Ware does play. Nevertheless, does he not get to play in this game? And Indiana struggled when he wasn't in the game, right? So much to break down here. I'm going to give you my reactions here. We'll do likes and dislikes like we always do. Try to get you a nice quick episode here on Locked On Hoosiers. 91-79, the final score. You start looking at some of the numbers for the Indiana Hoosiers. Malik Reneau had a great game. I mean, points-wise, he went off 28 points, and that's kind of what you expect from him when Kel'el Ware doesn't play. 12 of 21, 3 of 4 from the line, 1 of 2 from behind the arc, 8 rebounds. He played legitimately every minute of this game. He played 40 minutes in this basketball game. That's insane. That's absurd for Malik Reneau. He's a fighter, man, and I feel bad for him because he worked on his game hard in the offseason, and I just don't know. It's paying off for him. I don't think it's paying off for this team and paying off for him in a team perspective. But he dropped 28 points. Mackenzie Mbako at 17. Didn't shoot the ball well. He did from the free throw line, though. How about a 7-for-7 performance from him at the free throw line in 32 minutes played? You had 10 points from Trey Galloway, and that's pretty much it. Xavier Johnson gave you 7. Peyton Sparks gave you 7. Gabe Cupps gave you 7. But you still scored 79 points. That's pretty good for this Indiana team, right? You shot 54% from the floor. That's damn good for this Indiana team. You shot 43% from the three-point line. Hello, hallelujah. Knocked down some shots. 81% from the free throw line. Oh, my God. If you looked at these numbers at pregame, you'd say Indiana won the game, right? Not so fast. Indiana only turned it over 10 times. They got out-rebounded by 2. Only 2, though, so not too bad, especially with Kel'el Ware not being in the game. But you give up 91 total points. You give up 91 points to a Wisconsin team that doesn't score 91 points. They don't score 80 points. They struggle to score in the 70s, man. And you let them shoot 60% from the floor. They only took 47 shots. They made 28 of them. 48% from downtown because half of those threes were wide freaking open. Things we saw months ago for this Indiana team. They shot 25 of 29 from the free throw line. That's a whopping 86%. Only had 9 turnovers and played a really good game. And so, all things considered here, can we build off of this? Can we learn anything from this game for Indiana? I think maybe, right? As we kind of get into some likes and dislikes here, you didn't have Kel'el Ware. And when we found that news out myself pregame, I thought, oh, we're done. We're history. There is no possible way we're going to win this game. And started out hot, right? Indiana started out really, really well, took the lead, held the lead, gave it up. Then you come out of the half, you're down by quite a bit. Right? You're down 39-26. You were down by 13 at the half. You come out and you play really well. You've got a 7-0, then a 9-0 run all by yourself. Indiana showed a little heart. They showed a little fight, something we've been begging this team to show us, right? And then you let Wisconsin, you cut the lead to 7. And I said, okay, here we go. All right, here we go. Let's see what we got. And then you let them extend the lead back out to 20, right? It was another 14-point lead like that. And then it was 20 before you could blink once again. And again, all things considered, Indiana won the second half. You outscored Wisconsin 53-52. When's the last time we saw Indiana put up 53 points and a half this season? I don't know it off the top of my head. I'd have to go back and do some research for that, and I will. But this is a very raw reaction. This is immediately after the game. Indiana just had to play better. Don't give up 39 points in the first half. Don't give up 52 points in the second half. Don't give up 91 total points to a team that doesn't score 91 points. That's the takeaway here. Kel'el Ware could have been in this game, and they still would have scored 91 points because their points in the paint, they scored 30 in the paint. That means 61 of their points were either outside the painted area, long twos, which they shot some, free throws, which they hit 25 of, and three-pointers, which they scored 30 points off of. That's unacceptable. You're never going to win a game doing that. I'm sorry. You're not. And so Kel'el Ware or no Kel'el Ware, you give up 91 points and 61 of those being outside of the painted area, that's not on Kel'el Ware. That's on the guards. That's on Peyton Sparks. That's on Trey Galloway and Xavier Johnson and CJ Gunn, who we're going to talk about in just a minute. That's on those guys outside of the low block, and it's unacceptable. Indiana loses 91-79. Keys, and we'll have some likes and dislikes coming up in just a second here on Locked On Hoosiers. Today's episode of Locked On Hoosiers is also brought to you by FanDuel. The NFL's regular season has wrapped up, but there's still time to get in on the action with FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place a $5 bet. That's $150 in bonus bets, win or lose. The app is easy to use. You can do live same-game parlays. You can go to the Parlay Hub. You can find bets in the Explore tab and a whole lot more. So visit FanDuel.com/LockedOn and make your first bet a layup. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL. Welcome back into Locked On Hoosiers. I appreciate you making this your first listen each and every day here on this bonus episode, a reaction episode of Locked On Hoosiers. Indiana falls to Wisconsin 91-79. Quick likes and dislikes as we wrap it up for you here on the weekend. There were some likes, okay? I liked the fight that this Indiana team showed. I mean, Wisconsin didn't just get up by 20 and just coast the rest of the way, right? Indiana fought. They did. They fought. They grinded it out, and they made Wisconsin beat them for 40 minutes, which is something that I think we should be proud of. I think we should be excited for. Maybe that's something that carries over into Illinois coming up in a week from now. I don't know. We're going to see it. We're going to find out. So that was a like for me, that they did end up scoring almost 80 points. They shot the ball really, really well. Early on, they did not get good quality shots. It's the big dislike for me, especially guys like McKenzie and Baco shooting, legitimately 19, 20-foot 2-point shots instead of either stepping in or stepping out for a three, right? I don't get that. And some of that was on Wisconsin, but I think some of that was on Indiana settling as well. So that was a dislike early, but I think Indiana began working for better shots, and I liked to see it. We can't argue with 54% from the floor, 43% from the line, and or from behind the arc, and 81% from the free throw line. Those are numbers that we don't see from this team. So can't complain there. The obvious dislike is giving up 91 points. Bad rotation, bad communication, nobody picking up the ball in transition, size mismatches, right? Just so many problems on the defensive side. And the biggest dislike for me, and this is where we'll end it right here. The biggest dislike for me is the fact that in the last 4 games, you've had 2 players get ejected in a basketball game because they can't control their emotions. They can't control the way they act, and they can't control the things they do to other players during a game. That is unacceptable to me. It's unacceptable. It's ridiculous. It's trashy is what it is. You have to be able to control your emotions. And yes, I'm talking about CJ Gunn, who got ejected once again. Not him once again, but another Indiana Hoosier got ejected because of an action they did to another player. Now, let me say this. I think that ejection, that action by CJ Gunn, I think that was 100% initiated by Klesmit from Wisconsin. I do. He put his head down into his jersey. He was getting all up in him, and he initiated and was looking for some reaction. And guess what? The weaker-minded CJ Gunn in that moment, he gave in, and he threw him a little elbow. Did Klesmit flop and reacted right in front of his bench? Absolutely. You better believe he did. And he made the right play. We all would have done the same thing, and we would hope that our Indiana Hoosiers would do the same thing. He got the call, and CJ Gunn was ejected. Now, was that a turning point? No. Indiana was already down in this game. They weren't going to come back in that point. But that's besides the point here. Who do we put this on? Do we put this on the guys on the team, or do we put this on head coach Mike Woodson? I'm asking you. Who do you put that on? Is that on the coach, or is that on the players now that it's happened twice? Is there leadership on this team? Is there responsibility on this team? Is there a want on this team? I don't know. I really don't know, and I'm really starting to question that. And the fact that Indiana we went up here and lost this game the way that we did, I'm worried. I'm concerned. It's time to hit the panic button right now because there are so many more tough games for this team, and I just haven't seen any progress here. I've seen us get worse throughout the year. Thankfully, Indiana has a week off before they go on the road to Illinois, and by God, they need it. They need it bad. And we'll see what happens with this Hoosiers team. They lose to Wisconsin 91-79. Stay tuned. We'll have shows for you all next week here on Locked On Hoosiers. We'll be talking about this game some more, kind of resetting the season. What can we expect in the back half of the year as we approach February and, of course, March? And a lot of work to do before then if this team wants to be playing into March, into the NCAA tournament. Be sure you follow us on X at Locked On Hoosiers. Like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're on YouTube. It's free, helps us grow, and it helps you become a part of this wonderful community. If you're on any of your audio platforms, we're free and available there. You can subscribe, turn on notifications as well. Drop me down in the comments your thoughts about this game, what you think about this team moving forward. What are your expectations? Can this team make the NCAA tournament? You let me know because I'm worried. You tell me how you feel. We'll be back on Monday. So until then, Hoosier fans, stay safe, and I'll talk to you later.